I'm not following, Councilman. There is no one else. iStar is the only contract that we have gotten this far with. There is none other.
There is none other.
So if you're asking me tomorrow, can somebody else come? Like I said, since I've been manager, this is as close as that we have gotten for somebody to come in and buy those bulk units.
Okay, Mr. Manager, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Gavin?
Thank you. I have a lot of problems with this, and the more that's being said, the more likely I am to remove my second to motion this. I'm tired of those residents being promised to be made whole with their amenities, and there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee in this contract unless I'm overlooking it as to when a shovel goes in the ground. Am I mistaken?
The Oaks, iStar is buying these units. It would be iStar's obligation at that point in time. They have satisfied the Oaks through the attorney that you just...
But they haven't satisfied me. I mean, I'm sorry. Anything that I'm going to approve going forward is going to have a shovel in the ground start date and a completion date, because we keep stringing those residents along. I mean, I remember yelling at Chuck DeSanti about how dare you come to us, and this is almost the same thing, where you're saying, well, we'll make you whole, but there's no proof of that in here. That's the first problem I have. Second problem, we're making concessions for the buyer. iStar is clearly now the buyer, but we're not getting anything for it. We're giving, but we're not getting. If we're going to give, there needs to be a get for the city. There's no get for the city when we're reducing the amount of money that we're going to take, and we're raising the 5% rental ceiling. They're already in violation of that. You guys are already in violation. How about we just take it all back tomorrow? But 5% under this agreement is being raised to what percent?
They will be allowed to have rental units for the next 4 years, up to the next 4 years.
Any amount?
100% rental, 98% rental, 70% rental?
100% rental.
Okay, so that's another give. You're going from 5% rental to 100% rental, in theory, but there's no get for the city.
Through the mayor, Councilman, all of those units could sell or not sell. If someone was to come in and buy those units, there's no obligation to any buyer to do anything at the Oaks. They don't have to put in a swimming pool. They don't have to put in the guard gate. There's no obligation.
Yeah, but Mr. Manager, the problem is we want these guys to put a clause in this contract saying that, yes, we will do the amenities. What we have here is not in there. I think that's the issue. Although we say that, yeah, they're going to do it, but in reality, I mean, we've been talking about getting it done, but I mean, nothing at all. Even when I was, when I was campaigning for my re-election, they called me over there and I was like, Mayor, I mean, when is it going to get done? When is it going to get done? So,
as the mayor has rightfully pointed out in the past, the original Biscayne Landing agreement was at fault because it didn't have specific language in there that certain things would get done. We're just creating the same problem for ourselves right now because we're not specifically stating A, that they're going to do the amenities, B, what the amenities are going to be, C, when they're going to start, D, when they're going to finish, and we're going to let you pay us less money for this privilege, and we're going to let you rent more for this privilege. This is just so full of problems. This is a win for any buyer, be that iStar or anybody else, and it's a lose for the taxpayers of North Miami. In the most recent negotiations with Alita Partners for this project, they promised $2 million for the amenities, if I'm not correct. Didn't they promise $2 million?
Yes.
Where's that money?
it wasn't in writing.
It wasn't in writing? So then we're falling back on the same thing, where everybody takes advantage of our citizens. Everybody takes advantage of our goodwill. We mean well for our citizens. And then the developers all just sort of walk away and go, well, it wasn't in writing. I want no part of this until it's in writing.
Can you guys make a motion of what you want?
I'll motion to defeat this tonight. I'll move.
Can you give
Could we make a motion for iStar to put that in writing?
There's two items. I mean, one of it, really, we need to change the use. I mean, that, I'm not sure if this council want to really address that. And the second part of it, which is, you know, my problem, again, you know, I mean, I'm not running, I'm term out, you know, I'm going to be relaxing, go back to practice law, but at least if I could look at these people in the face in June or in July saying, hey, you know, we really got it done for you. Here's the money's there, and it's gonna get done. So that's my only issue. But it's really two separate issues. I'm not sure. Does the council really want to change the use? Because the use is already changed. I mean,
Obviously.
okay.
No,
Can you guys make
and
a
I get
motion?
that.
Make a motion for the first
I'm
part of
I'm
it.
going to motion to continue this to the next agenda so that you can work on language that specifically.
But we have a
addresses
motion and
amenities.
a second on the floor now.
Oh, okay.
So
So
you-
because well, I'm removing my second to the original motion because I was the maker of the second.
So what is the direction?
My request is that we continue this to the next meeting so that you can look at you can come back with specifics about what the 5% rental will be raised to and for how long, not forever and ever, but if, you know, 4 years, 2 years, whatever. I'd like to see us address the amenities in great specificity from what the amenities will be, when it will start, when it will end. And I have to tell you, I can't come from 150 down to 80 unless somebody really has a really convincing argument. So if that drop is there, I'm going to have a hard time supporting anything that comes back. But I don't think it's fair to the residents to give up that much tax revenue in return for zero.
And I second the motion.
Okay.
So it's to take this back. I think there's two issues. I don't know if you guys want to put it in two separate resolutions. One is the use, and the other one is,
That would be a good idea.
you know, the
When you say use, are you talking about the rental, the 5%?
right, the rent.
Yeah, I'm cool. I understand that the market's
sure.
changed, that they want to come above 5%, but to what and for how long? I mean, 100% ad infinitum is not fair to the residents, nor is for.
But
Sure.
I think we're all for the increase of the rental. We're all for that. And next meeting, we're going to discuss the items again, and we'll vote on it to change the use.
Mayor and council, I strongly recommend against separating the two.
Okay.
It takes out the leverage for negotiating. They have been in violation for the past several years. It's something that coming aboard that I discovered, but it's not new. It's been happening for quite some time.
What is the penalty for violation?
I'm sorry?
What is the penalty for their violation? We haven't endorsed anything of that nature.
There is, I would have to defer to the city attorney. However, the issue that I have is that we as a city have allowed it.
Right.
So we've allowed it as no sort of contractual agreement, but we've allowed it. So therefore, I want to keep the two separate so that I can go back and negotiate with iStar under the terms that you're indicating, and that is that you would like to see the amenity issue in writing, although
Absolutely.
although the association is okay with this, we want to go a step further and put it in writing. But certainly, I don't want to allow them to lease and be out of the lease without, without at least, because we don't have any other buyers. So if you want me to
Yeah, but
bring-
that could change very rapidly in today's market. It is
Well,
an increasing market
Did you
every
guys say
day.
that you deferred the item for
Yeah.
next
Yeah,
council meeting?
I vote for deferral also.
I'm just getting direction from the council as I do
Let's just
defer
vote for deferral.
that we don't separate the two. But
We,
I would
we
defer it
direction
with
is
the-
for you to separate them and move
And
on,
to-
have discussion and
And to come
everything
back
that
with
you
a
have to
better
do.
comment.
Yes,
and
report
come
back to
next
us.
council
Sure.
meeting.
I vote for deferral.
Next item.
Okay, thank you.
Are we going to vote on that?
Yes.
No, it's
All
already
We have
deferred.
to. We have a
Yeah,
motion and
Okay.
a second.
Anyone wishes to record a no? Hearing none.
Very good. All right.
Pass tab I.
A resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, directing city administration to refrain from utilizing red light cameras to enforce right turns on red light traffic infractions, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
I move this item.
You moved it, that's seconded.
Straight to video.
Public hearing is open on tab I.
Esther, you against it?
I think we're all in favor of it.
Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118th Road. I'm here on behalf of the San Souci Homeowners Association. Ms. Blumen could not be here this evening to register strong support for the mayor's motion and to also ask that the timing, the calibration between the yellow, just a friendly suggestion perhaps to augment, Mr. Mayor, your motion, that the calibration between the amber or yellow light and the red light meet the national traffic and automobile safety standards, which are as follows. The national standard is that for anything under 2 seconds, I'm sorry, it goes by miles per hour in the zone in which the red light camera is located. So anything in a 20 mile per hour zone has a 2-second minimum. So that is the criteria. If it's 25 miles per hour, it's 2.5 seconds. If it's 35 miles per hour, which is the norm, I believe, in the city of North Miami, it's 3.5 seconds. And if it's 45 miles per hour, it's 4.5 seconds. Personally, I know that there are red light cameras that do not reflect the national standards. So in addition to eliminating, which is a wonderful idea since it conflicts with the statute, Mr. Mayor, could you please add to your consideration a calibration that conforms to the national standards so that our, we don't run the risk of the red light camera citations being thrown out of court for not conforming, and B, it's only fair to our residents who often get stuck with a red light ticket, which Ms. Blumen says can affect your rates, your automobile insurance rates. So I would ask that we conform, because throughout the country, those tickets for running a red light when you're proceeding with the yellow are being thrown out, and it's costly and not very fair.
I move for the adoption of this resolution.
I second it.
Public hearing is still open on tab I. Okay, hearing none, we're gonna move on with tab I. The motion was made and it was seconded. I think we need the start date. It looks
Now?
like we
Like last
we already
retroactive.
have planned forward. So I'm not sure. You guys wanna start this at
February 1st?
September.
Can I put a friendly amendment to it? I will vote for this item, really. I will support it. But only if I add a friendly amendment to it.
Which one?
Not only by, we're going to end the red light camera throughout the city. Not only the right turn, let's end it out. Let's terminate the red light camera. Other cities have done that. We can do it too. Why don't we just terminate the red light camera? And if we want to make it effective by the end of this year, like after the budget, October 1st, for example, we can do it. But I will support that if we end it there, then the red light camera.
Well, I cannot accept your friendly amendment for obvious reasons, and I think the police department can't even speak to that. This is a major safety issue. We have been able to catch criminals throughout our city just because of that red light camera. So for that reason alone, I mean,
And accidents have almost declined 20%.
Accidents, decline. And you're talking about being able to just look at the camera and say, hey, you know, who's at fault, and being able to look at the camera and say, hey, you know, so and so robbed that grocery store. This is the car he was driving. Go back and get him. So I think, you know, ending it, that's not the right thing to do at this moment. But I truly believe that the turns, and the reason why I really brought this forward, and I know the city clerk is also a lawyer, most of the judges downtown are dismissing those citations, you know, if you're making a right turn. So the people that get those citations, if they don't know that they have to take these citations to court, they end up paying for it. Then they just paid for it when it could have been dismissed if you take it down to court. And the people that know that they have to take it to court, you know, take it to court and get those citations dismissed. So I think it's really unfair. If we're really looking at the best interest of the people, we gotta not only those that know the system, not only those that can actually fend for themselves, but we also have to help those that cannot fend for themselves, those that don't know the system, those that just, you know, basically would run down to the city clerk and pay the fee. So that's the reason why I brought this up. I realized, you know, what was happening. You know, I mean, when my clients, you know, come to the office, I look at the camera, I see it's a right turn, I said, okay, it's going to get dismissed. But many people would go down to the city clerk and pay for it just because they don't know and they don't understand exactly what's happening. So I think, you know, we have to fend for these people that really don't know.
Anyway, this is the reason I said that. But let me say this thing. I don't know if you guys read all the reports about the red light cameras. And in some cities, they say, hey, there is safety issues. In the other cities, it's remain the same, and sometimes more accident at the intersections.
No.
After all, I don't think you read all the reports. Okay, go and read all the reports about the red light camera. You will see at the end of the day, it's not a matter of safety. It is not, because wherever the red light cameras in all the cities, some of them the accidents have increased, some of them they have decreased. When they average them out, it's they realize it's not a safety issues. And if you read the reports, you may not see the same way I see. I think I read ton of reports about the red light cameras, and at the end of the day, really, it's not an issue. It's not a safety matter. I think it's a revenue driven. That's the reason the red light camera is there. I think in the city of North Miami, we make a lot of money in the red light camera. Of course, if we terminate the red light camera, we might short in revenues. But like the mayor says, we think about the residents in the city. If we really want to do them good, let's terminate them. I think that's my best solutions I can offer to those that get the tickets over and over, the citations, and some of them do not even know where, how, or when they have to go and play that in court instead of going and pay at the city clerk the money. And I think the best way to do it, just let's end it.
In all probability, the legislature, and not just slight probability, a modest probability, but in all probability, the legislature will end red light camera in this session.
Okay. Councilman Gavin?
I'm in favor of ending the right turn on red. I can't go as far as the friendly amendment by Councilman Marcellus tonight, only because I recently saw a state report that said accidents are down. So rather than do away with it all tonight, I'd be willing to be in favor of the mayor's proposal.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Ready to vote, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Right. And we're going to say effective October 1st.
Why so late? What happened? Why not now? Because I still have
the budget.
If you got a ticket yesterday, you still got to pay it.
No, I already sent mine.
What's wrong with February 1st?
I just find out that I can actually send it to court. I already paid 2. That was not mine. That's for family members. But
I would like to make it February 1st.
But seriously, I think that this is something that, unfortunately, it has not been, the constituent has not been educated about it. Me, I didn't even know that I could take it to court. A member of my family actually have it. All I just did and paid off. So when I received the second one, which was mine, so that's when I, realized what I can do. So if it's not a problem, I think we should make it
Which member
effective
of
immediately.
which member of your family? Because I'm
It's not me. I don't think that it's fair. Like
We don't
something
know
just
that.
happened during the CRA board meeting. Accidentally, I named someone and it become an issue. So I promise not to call anyone
well,
out.
I'm representing my wife.
Whatever.
Your wife?
She got one. And it's pending before court.
Mine too. So,
Okay.
but I'm not talking about what your wife has
Aye.
or mine. But I'm adding
We'll cut
that
the baby in half
immediately.
with June
Immediately.
1st,
All right, make it June 1st.
effective June 1st, right?
Why? What
Mayor,
immediately? Is that why?
if I have to say to Mayor and Council, you're looking at a budget issue, of projected revenue. I will say that, yes, the red light camera has saved lives. We have seen a tremendous cut in fatalities in this city. This city is being used as a model around the nation by American Traffic Solutions and the Insurance Council, Auto Insurance Council, for the reductions that we've seen as a result of our red light camera. That's the safety component. Is it a revenue? Yes. It's in our budget. It's in our projected revenue. And most of it is from transit locations where people get off of I-95 or go on Biscayne Boulevard. And it's designed to do that because most of our accidents and fatalities are people who are in transit. So if you do this, I strongly recommend October the 1st. If not, this mayor and council needs to allocate more money to our budget.
Okay. Mr.
There's
Sa-
no ifs, ands, and buts.
Or you
about
Just
that.
to
you
make
can
it-
cut somewhere, and then we won't have to make up the
Okay,
difference.
just to make it quick, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, I don't mind to go with October 1st as long as the police department promise that they will educate the constituent regarding the turn cam tickets that they can actually take it to court, or the clerk, or however that we can go about spread the information.
In addition to that, Councilwoman, we will ask American Traffic Solutions only give us the violations that are 15 miles an hour and over,
Okay.
making a right turn.
All right, ready to
So
go.
if
Mr.
they
Mayor.
make a right
Can they
turn,
determine that?
yes, it does. It does have a calibration
Yeah, but
on
the
it.
key
Until-
issue
Is education.
Education. If you guys could go out there and tell our residents that although you get the citation of making a right turn, that you have a great chance of getting it dismissed if you send it for court. Although the city clerk is going to charge you $150 for $160 citations to defend you, but still, I mean, if that is something that the police department, your office is willing to do, just educate the residents. I mean, you talk about transient, that's not a problem, but our residents need to know that if you get the citation, that you could actually take it to court, and chances are, it looks like that's the move.
We know that.
It would get dismissed.
We will do that.
But it's on the notice. Let's clarify something. Members of the public, the city clerk has nothing to do with this. We don't collect the fees. They pay to the finance department. That's first. Second, mayor and council, they do get the notice when the ticket is sent over. They get a notice telling them you have the option of taking it to court. These are the steps you must take. But as the mayor said, when you go to court, if it's a right turn, it's automatically dismissed. If no one's on the, if you don't have a pedestrian on the right hand side, so we're kind of not getting that revenue anyway. So I would say, why not make it effective immediately, because it's getting dismissed in court.
It's the people that don't know,
It needs
because
the
the
time to
citation
educate.
say it may be, but
Right.
it's going to happen.
Yeah, take advantage of the poor
Is
people.
that- There is a motion on the floor?
A motion and a second.
Okay,
I
so
made a
let's
motion.
vote on it.
And we'll-
But the motion is
I
on
made it
October
for
1st.
February 1st.
It was June 1st.
June
Okay,
1st.
June 1st, go ahead.
But,
Can you
but,
call the vote?
A
I-
motion was made and it was seconded for June 1st. Anyone wishes to record a no? Okay, hearing none, item pass.
Thank you.
Okay. Tab J.
Discussion regarding $2.5 million from Biscayne Landing to be allocated for the purchase of police vehicles and repairs and improvements in City Hall and the City Library.
Okay. Mr. Manager, we had a workshop. So can we hear from you before we open up for public hearing on tab J?
Sure, Mayor and Council. I don't know whether I should add the
Just tell us the
the
allocations.
new funds into that or not. We did, as the mayor and council had directed, we had a public meeting last week on Tuesday night, and in that meeting we discussed, we had posed 3 questions to our residents that attended that meeting. We had staff prepare a survey. Out of that survey, the question that was asked was, please rank the items that were proposed at the December 11th City Council meeting in order of priority. The results of that, 63% of those attended felt that the library was a priority. The police department and housing tied for second place at 15%, and City Hall at 7%. The third question that we asked, is there another project that they felt they would like to see addressed with the 2.5 million? And out of that, community programs received 29%. Second was street and infrastructure improvements. And now that was categorically put together because streets and infrastructure would have included all of our parks that you heard, City Hall, and any other infrastructure. So we categorized that to be that at 23%. Second was parks and recreation at 19%, library improvements at 11%, a grant writer, which was at 8%, police department at 6%, technology at 4%. We also asked if those that attended, if they felt that additional funding should be added to the $2.5 million to complete projects, and 66% indicated yes, 34% indicated no. On October the 23rd, 2012, I had provided a list that was to mayor and council indicating what staff considered to be critical repairs and categorically just improvements, and ones that that address quality of life. We feel that moving forward, in addition to the 2.5, looking at critical repairs, some of that is included in that percentage that you saw, that 23% infrastructure, but we strongly feel that additional funds needs to be added for infrastructure, being City Hall, which has a 40-year recertification, the library, which is due to have a 40-year recertification, and other city facilities. Some of the community centers that we have, we listed in that memo we drafted to you all, which was considered to be critical. These are not items that it was a wish list, but they critically need to be addressed. In addition, staff has reminded me that when we say police vehicles, it's not only police vehicles that we need other city vehicles as well. So pretty much that's our report on this and the report of that meeting.
Could you give the original figures you gave us again?
I'm sorry?
The figures for those categories. They usually stated to us.
Yes. You like to hear those figures again? Basically, it's a part of your package, but 63% felt that the library was a priority, along with the police department and the housing.
What the figures that you originally gave us for the library, City Hall,
Oh,
and for
City
the
Hall.
cause? Each one was like 500, 600,000, 1
Yes,
million?
between City Hall and, the City Hall was about 600,000 and the library was about 400,000 estimate.
The cars were at 1.5,
The vehicles were 1.5 total.
so that's 2.5 million.
That's 2.5 million for just those items. And then, of course, I will have to get the budget impact with going effective June the 1st. We estimate that would probably be several $100,000 between June and September of a revenue loss.
Just keep in mind when we balance the budget, property taxes, we guesstimated at 90-something%, so you still got some additional, maybe $200,000-300,000 that's coming in from property taxes, so.
And I just lost the old still.
Right. Yeah, you
So
still got
we-
the vote,
we-
so
Well, that one's out the door, but I really have to highlight that we're going to be in a very tight position.
okay, but that's the problem. Just want to be clear. I hate to see the cameras being used for that reason. Just want to be clear. My wife's citation was in Miami Gardens, not in the city of North Miami. Okay. Public hearing is open. Is it a little cold in here? All right. Can we take 5 minutes and somebody do the AC for us, please? Then we come back in 5 minutes and we're going to open public hearing, please. All right. It's freezing.
Someone go.
You have all these
Okay. Better now? Okay. Waiting for Councilman Blend to come up. And public hearing is now open on tab J.
Inez Couch, 1050 Northeast 131st Street. I am the president of the Friends of the North Miami Public Library, and I'm very happy that a multitude of people are supporting having the library funded. But I would respectfully request more than 400,000. Our library currently is 20,000 square feet. For the number of citizens we have, we should have a library of 50,000 square feet. We are bursting at the seams. We have over 20,000 people coming through the doors each and every month. So I would just ask that you consider the fact that we need more than some Band-Aids and meeting the 40-year certification. We need an expansion. And I just, not that I want to not give somebody else funds, but I am concerned about 1.5 million for city vehicles. If we didn't have this windfall, what would we do with the vehicles? Is there, I drive my car for 11 or 12 years, so is there a possibility the cars could last a little longer? So I'm just putting that out there, and I do appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Hi, Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118th Road, North Miami. Standing in for Susie Blumen, again, who's president of the San Souci Homeowners Association. We had several meetings of our board about this. We sent out several emails. I would, with all due respect to the city manager, point out that, and I mean no disrespect by this, but the sample, the size of the sample for the graphs and charts that you have is less than 0.5% of the registered voters. It's less than 0.25% of the residents of the city.
Very small.
And to base a public opinion that we should spend more than the 2.5 million, which was the final question that was asked, on the size of the sample without, and it's not even ascertained that it was a representative sample of the residents and how many staff members voted, etc. So, before you even consider an allocation, number one, you need to consider a number of things. One of them is grant writers. I think if you do nothing else but vote for 2 or 3 full-time grant writers, which was the priority for the Sans Souci Homeowners Association, you can make that $2.5 million grow. Number one. Number two, there's a National League of Cities enterprise programs, of which our city only has one, to my knowledge, which is the prescription drug discount program, although Councilman Blinn has brought back all of them. There is a National League of Cities procurement program for procuring large items such as this. There is a National League of Cities purchasing program, which you present to them how much you have in bidding on, let's say, police vehicles, and they guarantee you a 15% discount below that which you have proposed. That's for the police vehicles. There is, for housing, a National League of Cities utility repair program where they supply the personnel or allocate funds for the personnel to repair various items in individual houses with a repayment plan of which the city gets a portion of revenue, so they would be making money out of repairing homes through this program. That's number 3. We are a Playful City USA, and that entitled us to priority in grants for from the Kaboom program, which is the Parks Rehabilitation Program. And I would venture to say, if I had to guess, since we got that honor through a grant that our city wrote, we have not applied for one grant, of which there are revolving grants, which has been forwarded to you for information and for immediate action. So, I would suggest that with all of the things that you want to spend money on, that before you do that, the first thing you do is hire 2 or 3 grant writers with proven track records to grow that money, that you not allocate any sum for any of this until you explore the possibility of grants to augment what you need. There are certain things that are critical. Police vehicles are critical. The price of the police vehicles needs to be explored. Other city, I agree with Ms. Couch, other city vehicles may be able to be rehabbed or repaired and are not critical. Law enforcement vehicles are critical, but you need to get your biggest bang for your buck. And that is what I was told to say. If there is anything that needs to be done that can't come out of general funds for the ranch, I think Susie Blumen insisted that I ask for that to be done. I think you've cleared the land, but we don't have sand, right?
Thank you, Mrs. Blinn.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, distinguished guests, and community members as well. Start up? Yeah. Okay, my name is Natasha Vanover, and I'm a teacher at North Miami Senior High School.
I'm Jessie Collins, and I am an AVID tutor with her program, or in her class for the AVID program. This afternoon, we are asking for a very small amount from your budget. Our principal, I spoke with him this afternoon, and they are a part of the Quality Education Advisory Board. And I know that they have something that they have asked for our feeder pattern. But the AVID program is a new program, not new, but it has been in existence for at least 5 or 6 years thus far. And this year, we are attempting to follow all of the guidelines in that our students are being prepared for college readiness. These are students who are your A, your B, C students that are not meeting potential. And with the AVID program, we're able to teach them critical thinking skills. We have a day set aside where we talk about colleges and the college culture. And the monies that we are requesting is for that particular segment. It's for the college cultures. Students can make decisions about going to college, but when you don't know what the culture is like and you have nothing to compare to, it makes it difficult. So we want them to have the opportunity to see what the local colleges are like, and also look at their application processes and the requirements for them as a beginning student in college. In addition, we'd like to take them out of town to our local out-of-state colleges like Florida State, University, UFF, places like that, so that they can get a feel. These students are currently taking rigorous coursework. They're taking the AP courses and the honors classes, and we are providing tutorial programs for them. So what we're asking the city for is, like we have the little packet that we've given to you, which is about $5,000, which would afford us the opportunity to buy or purchase buses to provide them transportation to our local colleges, FIU, Barry, and places like that, and one out-of-state field trip, which would take us to forgetting the University of South Florida, Florida State, and places like that. I'd like for Mrs. Vandover to explain to you what she does as a teacher in that class.
I've been at North Miami for about 5 years. I was at the old school. I'm here now at the new campus, and I've seen my students really expand their horizons, and I've seen them make tremendous gains academically. But most importantly, I've seen them build a bond not only with their fellow classmates, but also with the tutors that we have from our community. And the one thing that's missing, the component that's missing for us, are the meaningful field trips and the transportation to participate in these activities. Our goal is to offer experiential education to our students, to all of them, and especially if we can take them to local and out-of-county universities. Now, we've been fortunate to have many great guest speakers come in, and we're looking for more guest speakers from the community as well. And the point is, we're desperately in need to take our students off the school campus and take them to a real campus on a university site. We want to take them to cultural institutions, and it's really important. The students take part in community events, and this would really help them to have something tangible to base that upon. So we're asking this evening humbly if you can please consider our sincere request.
Sure. Thank you.
Just one thing in closing. For more than 30 years, this simple formula has worked. If you raise the expectation of students, they will rise to the challenge, and that's what we're trying to do at this time. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
What exactly that we're doing tonight? What's the process? What? No, not you ladies. What we doing?
It's the allocation of $2.5 million.
Okay.
I want to hear from the public how they would like to see the allocation of that $2.5 million.
I thought that's why we had the workshop for the public to come and to tell us or tell the staff what do they want, what's going on. We, the city manager or whomever was responsible to collect the data and come before us to tell us, okay, what was the outcome, and for us up here to discuss how we want to go about doing it, if we're going to spend the $2.5 million, if you're going to add on it, or if you're going to save the entire 2.5 added up for another 10 years. So, but why is it that I'm feeling I'm having another workshop up here to listen to everything all over again? And to me, even if that's what we want to do tonight, that's not fair. Because if we have a project, if we have money we are to allocate to the community or to the non-for-profit, to the schools, we should advertise it and let everybody come or fill out application or however that we choose to do it. One more thing. I am not an economist nor an accountant. However, I have 25 years of experience doing all of that. I have been married for 25 years, and I have been very successful in what I do. But having money, anytime that we have a pot of money or $1 million, $2 million to take care of the business of the people, I'm feeling right now I'm doing politics with that money, and it's not fair. We have a city to run. We know what's need to do. Let's just do what we were elected to do. And tonight, I'm not about to go and give $5,000 here, $10,000 there, 2 police cars, $200 to the library. Either that we're serious about it. We know that if I have every year, I know how much my husband come home with. I have a budget for my house for a year. But if I have, by any chance, I have money from income tax, I cannot put it back in my budget, that the things that I do every year. I have to know that if I'm making $5,000, $2,000, $1,000 from income tax, I'm speaking for people who can understand. But I have to do something, a project with it. I have to take that $1,000, either renovate my house or buy a bedroom for my kids, something significant. I cannot take that $1,000 and put it and do grocery shop every month or every week. It's not working. This is not common. This is common sense. $2 million cannot. If we do have a budget, every year we give to the non-for-profit, we do a little thing here, we do a little thing there. But if we have money that will not come every year, we need to do something significant for the citizens to see what we did with that money. Other than that, we have a city that $17 million is almost over. We have nothing to show off for. We have housing that people actually, we can make a difference in people's life, where we can actually go out there, see those blue top roof. If there is no blue top, we know that there's a lot of people that are suffering, that have no roof or needs painting, or we have streets that need to be renovated. We have West Dixie Highway that needs to be renovated. We have 7th Avenue that need to deal with. So we do have a city as a whole. We cannot be sitting here every time we have a little money, everybody come, we're afraid that if you don't do this, if you don't do that, we're not going to be voted to office, or people are going to go in the Haitian radio or Miami Herald. I can care less tonight, but I'm not going to take that nonsense again. Either that we defer this, we sit down, each one of us with the city managers, to say exactly what we want to do, or we start all over again having a workshop with our own constituent. But I want us to be here, to be a woman. As I said, a woman. To come and discuss it, said, you know what, we only have $2.5 million, we're going to do this, do this, do this, and then this is it. We cannot be afraid. People are elected us. If they didn't want no government, they would have just governed the city by themselves. They elected us, we're going to represent them tonight, and we're going to tell them exactly, you represent me, that means you trust me. So that's what I'm going to do for you tonight. But having $5,000, $10,000, it's not going to cut it. Not tonight.
Okay.
We can raise another pot of money or bring some money, but another budget issue. Yeah. But tonight, that's going to be business.
I agree. Once
we have workshop.
Once we get to the city council discussion, then we'll find out exactly which way the best way to proceed. So
what's the purpose?
Just continue on and hearing from the public. Then the city council would make that decision. I guess in a little bit. Kathy, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm Kathy Hagar, tuning in from the Quality Education Advisory Committee, one of the city's boards. Here tonight, we submitted a proposal to the council well over a month ago. We are representing a total of 15 schools and 13,000 children. Each and every one of the children, residents of North Miami, that attend your public K through 12 schools. What we're asking for is not a donation. We're asking for you to approve an investment of $130,000 in these children, an investment that we can measure and hope to be able to provide sizable gains. We have right now, for those of you who heard us at the public hearing, in the city of North Miami, of those 13,000 children, 1/3 to 1/2 of them read at or below grade level. And that's not enough. That's not enough for a great city like North Miami. This is not something where we're going to come back to every single year, but if you have a carve-out of $130,000 that you can invest in your schools, the kids will benefit from. And I'll turn it over to the chairman of our education committee, Ms. Pierre.
Bernadette Pierre Saint-Souci. Excuse my voice, please, because I have a cold. Just to piggyback on what Kathy said, I mean, this is an investment. It's not a donation by any form. So please do review the proposal, and please donate that money to your city, to your students, and help educate them. And all of you guys know up there, education is the key to success. If you want these kids to be educated, if you want them to be out of poverty, the best way you can do that is help educate them. And hopefully, Councilwoman, we're not discussing $5,000. We're discussing education. So I look forward to hear your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing still open.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. My name is Kevin Burns, 2065 Alamanda Drive. What a great problem to have, that you have some money to spend. And I have to say I agree with the councilwoman on her assessment that it should go to a lot of one-time projects. Buying police cars, which you desperately need, is a reoccurring item that comes out of your general fund budget. However, because the budget had been strained for many years, the car purchases have been put off. So possibly it might be a good idea to invest some money into the patrol cars, because they're sorely needed, and maybe that extra money, a certain dollar amount, would give the police department that extra bump so that their fleet is up to par with some of the other communities. Some of the educational groups that are asking for money, I believe, are very noteworthy. But I believe we started, or the city, you all may have started that $500,000 educational fund, and the Swerdlow group or a leader group was supposed to give you $100,000. It sounds like a perfect match, invest in the students out of that educational money. But I agree that this really should be one-time projects that you do because you only have this money one time, it's not coming back. An investment in the library, which is sorely needed. I know back right before I became mayor, there was hopes of building a new library and so forth, so the library was always on hold. It just got by. I think, Mr. Mayor, you had recommended spending some money on the library, which I think is a very important facility that we have in this city, and would concur with you that we should invest in the library, because it's what we have. It's what we have there today. It's real, and invest some money in fixing that thing up, and new books or computers, whatever it may be, makes a lot of sense, and that is something that the community will see the day it's done. If there's some other one-time projects, I think the Parks Department is in need of replacing 300-400 trees that have died or been damaged throughout our community. People run them over, or they disappear. If you're starting to see some of our neighborhoods, it's starting to, some of the trees are disappearing. Invest in making sure that our facilities are all up to standards with this one-time money. And again, Councilwoman, I agree with you. Let's get the biggest bang for the buck. And if you want to set aside a few $100,000 and let community groups come through the application process like you did with the CDBG funds that are disappearing, maybe this might help supplement that. But again, this is one-time money that's going to disappear. It's not coming back, and make the biggest impact for the most amount of people in our community. Thank you.
Okay, public hearing is now closed on tab J. We're going to move into council discussion. Can we establish some ground rules in council discussion? Can we allow each and every single member of the council to actually have the opportunity to speak before we make any motions? Can we all agree on that?
It's always been the case.
It better be. Not really.
Sure.
but it will be
I'd like to
tonight.
divide it up into two parts.
Okay, so everybody agree, we give everybody an opportunity to talk, then before that, you know, we go and start entertaining motion. You know, really want to hear from, you know, all members of this council members.
Can we divide it into two parts? First, we can discuss the monies that the city needs for the city hall, library, and for the police. And can we establish a amount for that, then the remaining money can be discussed.
Okay.
But I have questions.
Well,
I have
yeah, everybody
questions
has
too.
questions
Let's-
going on. So, can you move on, Councilman Bland?
Yeah.
Ask your questions and.
Well, it's
where
not,
we
it's
at.
not a question, it's determination how we're going to expend this money. But I want to take care of the city first. That's our first
Just give your
responsibility.
suggestion
We're
to make it
elected to
quick.
take care of our citizens in the city. The city has a library that needs to be renovated. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
But we can't go that far. We need to spend so much money on it so it passes a 40-year inspection. And same thing for the city hall. And same thing for the number of police cars. I don't know how long they've been around, or how long they can last, nor the cars that the city employees use. And I don't know if the city employees, how many cars, what the breakdown is. I need all that information before I can make an intelligent decision.
That's on the package that you gave us the last time, basically.
I asked for that the last time we met.
I think, you know, it's a total of, what, can you give us the number again, please?
Mayor and Council, if Mr. Ghani is here, he is here. He can
Okay.
better explain the cost for City Hall, estimately what we've gotten from that, as well as the library. Again, this is only for 40-year recertification. Police vehicles are 1.5 million, and that includes other city vehicles. But I would say 85% of that is for police vehicles. And if he can explain the City Hall status as well as the anticipated 40-year research, so you can have a dollar amount. If he could just briefly give that with the dollar amount.
Aleem Ghani, Public Works Director. Last year, the city had to do what is called a 40-year recertification for City Hall. It's done by a structural engineering company, and in there they addressed health and safety issues and liability issues on the building. It's a public building. A copy of the report is available if you want it. The engineering report basically came up with an estimated number of about $600,000 to bring the building up to compliance. That includes structural deficiencies on the first floor, second floor. It includes the mechanical system and air quality system, which is also addressed. The mechanical system, which includes the air conditioning, and also the electrical system. The electrical system in this building is pretty old. Presently, we have to order breakers over a 6-month period. Place special orders for breakers to replace them. So that's the condition it is in. And based on this report, is about approximately $600,000 to do all the replacement costs.
The library.
In the library.
Initially, when I went out there as a professional engineer, I did a cursory review on the facility. I came up with about $200,000. That's just replacing the lighting, some of the flooring. This year, this fiscal year, a 40-year recertification is going to be done by a structural engineer similar to what was done on this facility. And it's anywhere in talking to other companies that came out the last time, in fact, the company that did this building, they're looking at about another $600,000, $500,000 to $600,000, just to do the repairs at the library.
Okay.
And those are code compliance and compliance issues that the city has to bring up, into compliance.
Okay, so we have library, $600K, 1.5 mil for citywide cars, and $600K for City Hall.
Well, who can speak to us in reference to the cause?
Do we have?
Can we
Just
have
one
some, can we
second.
have
We
some
just got the
overall
numbers.
parameter discussion and before we get into the details under Councilman Bland's report and spend the money? I mean,
We're just getting explanation.
I want the
we're gonna
details
be-
to know
we're
where
gonna-
we're spending it.
But we're going to be here all night getting the details on what you want and then what I want. Here, I have to echo what the councilwoman said. The citizens need to see a bang for the buck for this money. If we spend every dollar that's available, whether it's 2.5 or the whole 17 million, if we spend it on recertifications, new cars, staff salaries, and everything that's within the four walls of this building, shame on us. We need to be talking about what great things out in the community we can be doing, like the library, like the Sans Souci wall, like the...
We can't do that out of $2.5 million. We need additional money. You want to discuss that?
I agree, but here's the point I'm making. We need staff to show some leadership, to come up with some suggestions, like you actually did in October, and we never did it, and then meet with the council members. Nobody on staff has yet asked me what I would like to see done. Sun sail for the Keystone Tot lot, movie nights in District 1, west of Biscayne, so that everything's not east of Biscayne. But nobody's even asked me what I want. Before we get into this haphazard going in 20 different directions, details on staff certificate cars, why don't we just
postpone this?
Well, yeah, postpone it, but sit down and have some discussion with your council members. I know the mayor had a couple of town hall meetings over the summer. He probably has some ideas. I have some ideas.
I have ideas.
We all have ideas.
Right. So you need to.
We're
talk
just
to
afraid
us.
to tell them.
So why
that
don't you
direction.
just take the money and spend it?
I'm not going to say that.
You got to spend it wisely, that's why.
I'm not going to say, right, it's just spend it wisely, because if we spend it and it's gone, then it's gone. And if it's all gone on staff salary and cars and recertification, that's not the way I think it should all be spent. Do we need to spend more than 2.5 million? I'm open to that argument right now. But on what? I need staff to sort of, there's a difference between a need and a want. I think some of the stuff we're talking about funding is wants from the staff side, not needs from the staff side. Recertification might be a need. A new police car might be a need too, but I need a little bit more detail on how many cars, at what price.
You need to provide, I asked that the last time we met, the details on how we're going to spend this money. How many police cars, how many city people use cars, how old they are, how long can they last?
Okay. Councilman
yes.
Blaine, I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Marcellus for his input.
Yeah. Last Tuesday, I was here in the public workshop, okay, and I was listening very carefully to the people's concern. And really, I want to make some recommendations based on their concern. And I understand we discussed like 4 big items last Tuesday, although we have some addition to it. And I heard the people cares about the library, and I really do care about the library also. And in addition to 400,000 or 600,000 to the library, I myself, I want to see an addition to the library. Not only to repair the library, but I want to see the library getting bigger. Add a big room in that library because it's too compact. Therefore, I want to myself put $1 million toward the library, but not to repair the library only, to add a portion, like on the northern side of the library, there is a big vacant lot. I think we can add a big piece of it. That's make the library better and bigger and nicer for the students. When it's come to the housing, really, I went through the community and I went to the houses and I talked to the owners and I look at them. I think we need a lot of repair and we have to do something. And like I said on the first time, the last meeting, when I said let's split it in 2 phases. Phase 1, I think we should put $1 million to phase 1 and wait and come with a report, Mr. City Manager, and we add another $1 million to phase 2. That's the way I see it.
Are you referring to the housing?
The housing. Like that's already $2 million for the housing, $1 million for the library. On the police cars, and I really believe we put myself $800 for the police cars only. And I think the city manager can manage to the city's cars because there's all the money that available in the city. The city manager can manage for that. And for the city hall, also when I discussed that with the city manager, we discussed the city can find another $300,000 add to the $300,000 that we propose. That's make it $600,000. And right now myself, I only allocate $300,000 for the library.
For the city hall or library?
No, I'm sorry, for the city hall. This has a library, but it's for the city hall.
Yeah, but it's okay, I get you.
Okay, and since, according to the town hall meeting that we have last Tuesday, the public shows some interest on the community service, and I want to add another $3,000 to the community service.
You mean 300,000?
300,000 for the community service, and also 300,000 for the street improvement. Park and Rec, 100,000, and that this is my my recommendations. Okay, and where we're going to have the rest of money, where we're going to take the money, we're going to take it from the reserve. The reserve that we have, that's where we're going to tap on and to get the money and to get this job done. And this is my recommendations, but it's based on the people's concern. Thank you.
Okay. We may need to get these numbers again. Councilman Blaine?
I have them.
I mean, Councilman Gavin? Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
here's the thing. Everything that the councilman has just suggested is a deserving project. If you give $1 million to the library for an expansion, before we put that in stone, I need to know from you guys it can be done. Because I can say I'm going to give $1 million for an expansion, but the costs might be that it can't be done for less than 1.5 million. You follow what I mean? Like, I need some actual professional input from these dollars. If we're going to give $100,000 to Parks and Recreation, that's nice. For what? So that Jeff can get a new salary of $100,000 more? Well, no, we didn't mean that, but we gave it to Parks and Recreation. So what did we mean? I think we need to be specific. If we're giving it to Parks and Recreation, it's to do X, Y, or Z. And that's where I think we need to chill for another couple of weeks at least, and have you guys meet with us and get some details together, and then come back to us. I'm all about expanding the library. I also think they need some like better furniture. They should have like a little cafe in there where maybe we bring in an outside merchant who sells coffee and stuff so people can get more of a like Starbucks type of experience. But I have no idea what those types of things cost. Again, nobody's asked me what my gauge of the community is, and I can sit here and go through it all night, but I'm just going to be making stuff up, and I don't, once we spend it and pass a resolution, it's spent. So I want to be supportive of $1 million for the library. I just need to know that they can do something with that other than a lot of new books. Like, you know, if MoCA, and where's MoCA in the discussion? If we're going to expand MoCA and we give MoCA $1 million, which was suggested at one of the other meetings, can they really do anything legitimately toward expansion other than paying a couple of guys to come in and give us a pretty picture? Or can they actually do some expansion? I mean, that's where I want to go. I want us to spend the money, spend it wisely, but I don't think throwing out 5,000 random topics tonight is the way to do it. And I'm willing to motion to continue this another couple of weeks so that, I mean, you can come back to us.
that motion.
Didn't we agree that we're gonna let you know what, guys?
Yeah.
You don't want to
You're
see
right.
the other side of me tonight.
Yeah. No. And I'm not. I'll wait to make my motion in deference to the councilwoman. But you know, you did at one point give us a memo in October of 2012 with 7 or 8 pages worth of potential projects to fund. But I need you guys to tell us what's a want and what's a need.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, like you said, if we have $500,000, we say we want to make an extension for $500,000. We'll get an extension for $500,000. Okay, there is no if and but about it. Okay, that's what you have, and you request for what you have. Okay, if you want to make an extension for $5 million, you will get an extension for $5 million. Okay, and it's a matter how much money you have and what you want to spend, and you ask them exactly what you want. That's the way I think, that's the way I see it. And for example, for the park, and the reason I'm the Park and Rec, when the people came and some of the constituents talk about the sands and the breaker and the switch, things like of that nature, and they need to be replaced. And I think if we keep postponing or defer the meeting over and over and wait, we may never do nothing with that money. The
We'll
money
do
is
something.
going.
No, we'll do something. We're gonna do something.
Or one of these days we just want to say, hey, we just blow it away. And I think this is the best.
I can do that.
This is probably the fourth meetings on that money.
All right, Councilor, I'm going to turn it over to Vice Mayor. I agree with you 100%. You know, delay on top of delay on top of delay. I don't know if you guys are waiting till I leave office to actually have a meeting to spend the money, but if that's what you guys want to do, just delay it till June. I don't have any problem with that, but don't let me sit here every council meeting. I'm sitting here getting prepared, and you guys keep delaying. If you guys want to delay it till the second council meeting in June, I'd be more than happy to do so if that's what you guys want to do, but don't make me prepared every couple weeks and to come here. I mean, tonight we are going to go through with that $2.5 million and actually allocate that $2.5 million. And if there's other allocation that must be done, maybe we put that at another meeting to talk about that. But tonight, we you know, that's just too long. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. City Manager, beside the $5 million that we actually voted before everything took place, and another, I think, $3-point-something million that we actually allocated for salary. How much do we actually have right now?
Councilwoman, initially out of the 17.5 through resolution, I believe through ordinance, you put $5 million in a reserve account. That left $12.5 million. What Councilman, from my understanding, that what Councilman Marcellus on his prior motion.
I'm sorry. Let's forget about
Well,
any
yes.
one of them that's actually make a motion. Let's just focus. Just tell me exactly how much that we have, because I know there was a discussion, or we actually have a resolution or voted on to put a certain amount of money to balance the budget.
You want to know how many discretionary dollars we have?
So how much that we have actually right now if we wanted to spend?
In our estimate, 7.5.
See, I have to say I totally disagree with that,
0.5.
because the motions made at October 23rd's meeting put dollars in reserve, repeatedly put dollars in reserve. I've got the verbatim minutes. But it's a fair consideration, because if staff has already gotten $3.5 million for salaries, that's a quarter of the. No, we didn't. Though that's the thing, and I've got the verbatim minutes here. I've watched the tape again. I am adamant. The motion of Councilman Marcellus was to put dollars in reserve. Our minutes reflect the dollars were put in reserve, and I stand here tonight believing they're in reserve. Now, if the council wants to vote tonight to give staff $3.5 million for salary and clarify it, I'm willing to have that vote. But until it's made clear, that wasn't the motion I voted on that night. We did not give it to staff salary. We put it in reserve. And he mentioned it could be used for staff salary, but to me, that's a huge amount. That's a quarter of the money available just for everybody to get a raise.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, go ahead.
I'm okay. I'm
That's
confused.
how much you raise that can be made
I'm
whole.
confused.
No, but
Okay,
they've
so
already
right.
used, okay, then let's come back here. The money that you've had, Mr. Manager, over the preceding 3 or 4 years, staff took pay cuts, furlough days, and other things that cut into their bottom line. Have you made them whole again already?
No.
Have you made them whole again already?
Through the mayor, Councilman, we, at your direction, we gave them back 5%. What we had very thoroughly, comprehensively explained, that up to the next 5 years, and in the package that I submitted on October the 23rd, that to pay for that cost moving forward, it would be $3.5 million.
So you fronted the amount of $3.5 million to the staff already, and now you need it here so that you can balance.
No, that would be the cost that we thoroughly explained, that would be the cost to sustain what we gave, the 5% that we gave back to the employees, Over the next 5 years, it will cost 3.5. Councilman Marcellus voted that that money be in the reserve since we have a balanced budget this year. So moving forward, the cost of that up to the next 5 years is 3.5 million. So yes, he says it's in the reserve because we're not using it. So it has to be someplace. So that's where the funds, that $3.5 million is located.
But if it's in reserve, it's unallocated. It's not.
No.
Otherwise, it would be in personnel. It would be in. It would be in staff. It would be somewhere. I'm shutting up right now if the councilman
It's in the
tells me-
reserve.
I'm shutting up right now if the councilman tells me that on October 23rd, his motion was to specifically make sure $3.5 million goes towards staff salaries. Councilman, is that what your intent was then?
I think the verbatim is clear on that. I asked Mr. Johnson, we have $6.5 million, we have $5 million into the reserve, add $6.5 million to it, that's make 11.5, plus the $3.5 million that he allocated for the employees, and put that into the reserve, that's making a total of $15 million.
That's what he asked for.
In reserve, right? But that's my understanding. It's in reserve.
Okay.
We mentioned.
It's probably the is probably where you're confused. When I said that money, it's already allocated for the employees, and when I said this is the back payment, and Mr. Blaine replied, no, this is a future payment, and this is it. The $3.5 million. I believe myself, he has to be on reserve because they
you
cannot
cannot
spend that money.
month.
That's my belief.
We understand that.
But of the no, I didn't understand that. I'm hearing something new tonight. How can you tell me, Councilman,
Yes.
that of the $12.5 million we have to spend, you're willing to take $3.5 million of it, more than 25%, and give it to staff salaries?
But listen to that. Listen
The
to that.
manager gave it.
Listen.
Listen
to that.
decision-making
Listen to that.
process.
Listen to that.
Yes,
Listen to
yes,
that.
yes.
When I said that, all of you were here. Guys, we still can discuss that. The money is there. The money is at in the reserve. We still can decide it if we don't want to give all the $3.5 million to the salary. This is one thing. This is one thing. When I made it, we were here and we agree with it and we put it into the reserve.
And
So,
we put it on.
so if you're saying that we can consider that $3.5 million for anything else, I'm good with that. That's the way I understood it on October 23rd.
Okay. Since I have the floor, can I have the floor back? Is that okay, guys? Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You can see why we need to put this off and have more meetings because we're going to be all night.
Listen, here's what's gonna happen, guys. I don't have a problem being here all night, but it's gonna take place tonight. As I said, we should not be afraid to do the people's work. I have kids. Decision has to be made. It's hard. I know that probably I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, mom. But it's okay. That's why I'm a mom, for you to hate me sometime. But the point is, I have good intention, and we're gonna do it tonight. We're gonna give staff. We're gonna recommend to staff what to do tonight, either to go and make more research on what we direct them to do. But apparently, each time that we have to discuss this money, go talk to somebody. You're not telling me what to do. No, I don't want staff to tell me what to do tonight. I'm gonna tell you guys what to do because you guys are actually working for us, kind of, because we the one that represent the people. We're gonna tell you what to do. What we're gonna do tonight. From what I understand, we have $7.5 million that no one up here, I mean, most of us up here does not want to deal with. 6.5. We pretend that we only have $2.5 million. According to Councilor Marcellus, who actually put this on the agenda many times, we have $2.5 million. But tonight, what I'm hearing from him, I'm not good in math, but as I said, I have 25 years of experience dealing with budget. $2 million housing, $1 million library, and $300,000 and $300,000 and $100,000. I'm sure by now it's more than $2.5 million. So what I'm understanding that we're willing to spend more than $2.5 million. You guys don't have to answer me, but that's what I get, and I think that's what it is. I agree to most of the suggestions that Councilman Marcellus presented tonight, except that if we're going to vote on anything tonight, I hope that we're giving staff direction to go and do more research. As Councilman Galvin mentioned, if we give $1 million to the library, we have to actually dictate to staff what is it going to do. Or do we want them to have $1 million to just renovation or just add a little room? But I would prefer, as I said, we will probably never have that much money as a block again. So we might as well just do, if we're going to do one project or two projects, tomorrow or next year after the mayor gone, drinking Cuba Libre and all that, we need to say, you know what, in 2013, we actually take serious step, serious decision. This is what we do. Not going around and say, you remember the money that we give you? No, it's not going to happen. So I will suggest a friendly amendment to the $1 million to the library to give staff to go in with the intention that it's $1 million, but what exactly that can take place for $1 million. If it's 1.2 or 1.3, come back, or $800,000, but at least you have an idea that, according to Councilman Marcellus, we will, which I support, that we will have to have an expansion to the library. And I think that Scott agree, but we don't agree on the set amount. But take into consideration, we want to go up to $1 million for now. For the housing, the $2 million, I think it's kind of excess. Right now, we have, from the last time that I talked to the city manager, I think we only have, not only, it's a lot, around 500 houses that's in the list. 700. Of course, everybody knows that we have $17 million. Everyone in the city needs works to do. So I think we should allocate at least $1 million to the housing department as phase one. You mentioned, Councilman, but I'm not sure about $2 million right now. If we have $5 million, trust me, we'll be able to spend it in the city when it's dealing with housing. I support that. City Hall, I'm not sure where we're gonna get the other $300,000 from, but from what I understand, we need to deal whatever the problem, the issue might be with City Hall. So I will consider that we allocate the $600,000 until the city manager can come back to us and let us know that, okay, you know what, we only have we have another $300,000, then we can allocate it to another project. What I'm trying to do, guys, I'm trying not to put in no Band-Aid on anything right now. We have the money. Let's make serious project with it. My project. This is my project. I would love to see 7th Avenue not giving money to building owners to go and just like the CRA are doing. I am asking, which I already talked to the city manager in the CDNP, I think this is the right department, to come up with a nice project where we can have a beautiful facade, a unified facade for 7th Avenue, just like Commissioner Monisim started on the south side of 7th Avenue. I would love to see this. I'm not sure if the city manager has a sort of like a cost attached to it, how much it would cost from here to do a phase one or phase two. But what I would like to do, before that I come up with a resolution to come up with the building owners, but I would like to see if council here would be agree that we cannot afford to treat 7th Avenue each time someone come and ask us for a project, we give them $100,000 here, $200,000 there. At the end of the day, everybody have a different project. 7th Avenue still remain the same thing as much 7th Avenue.
Northwest 7th or Northeast?
Northwest 7th Avenue. I'm sorry, thank you. So I think that we need to have a pilot project on 7th Avenue where we have a unified facade, just like we plan to have on downtown 125th Street. I'm not sure that it was never completed. So this is my project. This is something that I would love for you guys to support. Again, if we put like allocate $1 million to it, but that would be just like a pilot project. I would have to work hard to find more money to finish the 7th Avenue, both sides of 7th Avenue. I think that's already how much? 3 million?
Let's-
Are we up to 3.6? I don't want to be selfish. I think that, what else did you say, Councilman Marcellus?
Social services, street
Well,
improvement.
as I said, okay, I am a social worker by trade. I love my social service agencies. I think that we need to be careful with that money, not to just playing politics with it. I think former
That's
Mayor
what you're
Kevin
doing.
Burns said earlier regarding we do have a project dealing with the schools, the $500,000 that the Biscayne Lenny was supposed to, $100,000 every year or 750,000 scholarship. So if there's a way that we can use the same, another thing that I would like to say regarding this, we do have a board, educational board, advisory board in the city. I would suggest that for us to use our board or our different departments that we have, instead of everybody coming, which is they have great project, but there's a reason why we have an educational board in the city, because we want to have one focus. I'm asking for them not to be selfish to do their own project, but if a project for North Miami for only $5,000, they should be able to combine and go to that board, says, you know what, this is a project that we have, or come to the what's the other name of the agency organization that we have. They should be able to go to that specific. Just like when people need a housing issue, they don't come to the council. They go to housing department and they deal with it. You guys come to us and tell us, okay, this is what we need. This is what's going on. We no longer want social services to come before us for $500,000, for $200,000, for $5,000. It doesn't make any sense. Now it's become like a political arena. We're afraid that if I don't give it to you, you're gonna hate me, you won't vote for me, or you will, whatever it is. We need to come with the formalities where social agencies can actually go to this department. Then you guys tell us how much money that you need. When they have any issues, they don't have to come to us. If you guys feel that you need our help, or we need to raise more money, or we need to find more money, then we'll deal with it. But I suggest that for the city council to stop dealing with different individuals, because me personally, I already have 3 agencies that's come before me giving me their project. What am I going to do? If you give yours $5,000, I probably ask for $10,000. Then the next thing you know, we already have out of $500,000 to non-for-profit, which it's not gonna enough. So I'm
Listen to me,
suggesting-
Councilwoman.
What is
We
it?
only have 3 things to take care of.
So I'm suggesting,
If
Mr.
we take
Blair.
care of those 3 priorities, then we can talk about where you are.
Okay, I'm
And I'll be
suggesting-
happy to compromise with you.
Okay, I am
But
suggesting.
how much money can we allocate for the cars? The city hall has to be refurbished. We have no choice. If it fails
we
the
already
40-year
done-
inspection,
we already-
we're going to have to spend the money one way or the other.
Mr. Blaine,
Plus the library.
Mr. Blaine,
We
if
have
you
no
listen-
choice but
if
to
you
spend the
listen-
money on those projects.
If you listen a little bit, not falling asleep on
Then
me.
we discuss your
So
projects.
we won't have to discuss this because it's I
Because
already
we
say
have a
it.
priority.
And Mr. Bland, come on. I lost the train of thought, and I was doing so well, Mr. Bland, because of you. I lose it. Where am I
You
now?
left off on social services. We should set up a fund.
Yeah, for now, I think that we should, because I'm trying not to spend the entire $6.5 million. So let's leave it for now until we come up with a decision how we're gonna deal with it. Because I would hate for us to give $500 here, $100,000 there, then the 3 and 4 and 10 and 20 other agencies that will come before us, then we won't be able to do it.
Let's take care of our 3 functions. 3 entities.
That's
so the city can function.
in dealing with the police, the city cars. Is that a what? Is that a must? The 1.5 million? Is that what you're telling me, that we need to deal with it?
Through the mayor, council, Vice Mayor Sterl, each police car costs about $30,000 to $35,000. When we are in need of about 50 vehicles. We have
And
not
needs or
purchased-
wants?
No, that's a need.
Okay, 50.
We have vehicles that are 7 years old. on
I
the
trust
road.
you. You don't have to give me details.
Okay,
If you say it's
so
needs, it's needs.
It's a need.
Okay,
And
so the needs will cost us $1.5 million.
Yes.
The needs, those are not wants.
Just for police cars.
Okay,
Just-
So, how much is that, Mr.?
It's $1.5 million.
Mr. Mayor? Well,
$5.1 million.
$5.1 million. So I would, since I'm the last speaker, can I make a motion?
Well, if we're going to throw out actual projects, I got a list, and so I want to throw some.
Let's take care of the three first.
I did not get 1.5, 5.
Yes, so you got $1 million for housing, $1 million for the library, $600K to City Hall, $1 million for a pilot program, $1.5 million for the police cars.
What's a pilot program?
The 7th Avenue facade.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's 5.1.
He's an engineer too.
No.
You know?
Okay, so you guys
And
have
you know,
1.5
the
million.
way we do it in court, you see what Councilman Blend did to you, Councilwoman? When we feel like the lawyer is doing very good, we say, objection, judge! Then we throw the lawyer off and he forgot what he had to say.
Well,
So
let's
that's
just
why-
take care of the priorities,
Well, he
the
did
three
well.
important aspects of the city, so it can
Okay,
function properly.
so, Mr. Galvin, I give you $1.5 million to spend.
Thank you. Here are some of the. I'm not going to attach a dollar amount right now. If I need to, then I will. But here are some of the things I would like to see. They actually
Go
rank
ahead.
small on the food chain.
Go ahead.
I would like to see the 143rd Street alley wall repaired.
Okay, cool.
That's that. I think you know what I'm talking about. That's the one that's just east of 16th Avenue
know.
there.
I
Along.
remember it.
Okay. I would like to see the Rockin' Inn Ranch ponies get some new sand on the floor for their ponies.
I can donate that.
You don't know how much that is.
I would like to see a movie night. I don't know what's going on with this movie night because one night it's at Griffin, then another night it's at Keystone. What's up with this movie night?
Through the mayor, Councilman, we have one at Griffin and we have one at the Keystone Tot Lot.
Okay.
We picked those two locations because we felt that they would be centrally located for people in the middle of the city to far west and the middle of the city to far east to get to those two locations once a month for family fun night. That's why those two locations were selected.
I'd like to expand that project. I mean, for instance, I have another idea in District 1 where it might be, but the councilwoman might want one in District 4. The North Bayshore Park, Lehman Park might be a great place in District 2. I'd like us to explore expanding the movie night because, Griffin is nice, but let's be realistic. Nobody from, Celestin Center is going to come all the way over there, nor is anybody, going to come east into the Keystone Tot Lot, which has no parking at all, unless they live in Keystone. So I'd like to expand the movie night program. Keystone Tot Lot, I've had several requests for a sunshade over the play equipment. It's metal, it gets hot, kids get burned. Several moms have reached out to me and said, can we put a shade over the Tot Lot? I have no idea how big that would need to be, no idea the cost. You see, this is why I want a little bit more information. Keystone homeowners have asked me for lights for their marquee signs. I think one of them has lights, but the others don't. So they've asked for lights for their Keystone marquees. I'd like City Hall to be Wi-Fi accessible, and I'd like us to get away from paper agendas and all this bulky bulk. That's a real phrase. I looked it up, bulky bulk. Every one of these stations up here should really have its own little built-in computer. The school board's been doing it for years. Rather than you having somebody delivering all of this bulk to us and then you add more additions as we sit down, why don't we just have a computer at which we pull up the documents and do it that way?
Mr. Blinn doesn't like that.
I know, but if Mr. Blinn then chooses never to look at it because he doesn't like it, that's cool, but you know what I mean? Like, we need to, it's the 21st century now. We need to start transitioning into less paper and more Wi-Fi and computer. I'd like to see money for MoCA's expansion. I don't know what that would mean either, but I think MoCA getting some money in there for their expansion is an absolute must. It barely failed at the polls. I don't know what we might have fallen back into to look at.
I think we should take it back to the poll. That's another discussion.
Might be. But MoCA's expansion, if we just leave it go now, I could see everybody in MoCA, in their universe just saying, oh, well, nobody cares about this anymore, and donors moving on. That's what I fear the most, donors moving on with their money and with their art. We'll have pension obligations in the city in the years to come. I'd like to know what those pension obligations will be, and again, look at whether or not, you know, we need to set money aside for that. Sidewalks need to be repaved. Where exactly? I don't have a suggestion for you right now, but I think we should set aside some sort of sidewalk improvement, drainage improvement, infrastructure funds. Some dollar amount should be suggested for that. That's my sort of long laundry list of stuff for right now.
I think I agree with everything that the councilman just mentioned. I think they're a very good project, except if you allow me for MOCA. I think that MOCA should take seriously. If we even add $1 million, $500,000 for MOCA, it just MOCA is not a pet project. I think we have to take it extremely serious to research or talk among ourselves or to our constituents to understand why we had so many people that went against it, and then to take care of it, to take it back to the voters and go back with the bond issue. So right now, that's the only thing that I think that we should not be considered in that amount of money, because I am 100% for MOCA to take it back to the voters if you guys allow me. Other than that, I think that
we do not have to spend all the money.
No, we never.
Why don't we just take the priorities and we tap on them and we move on? Otherwise, we
three main projects.
We will spend all the money. And Councilwoman,
I just echo everything that you said. My list was your list, except that I even make it smaller. Those are your lists. I don't do anything with it. You give $2 million for housing for phase 1 and 2.
Yes.
And I'm asking you, we do just phase 1 for now with $1 million and do 7th Avenue, which I think that you will support. And then I ask for City Hall the same thing. I allocate $600,000.
But how much has come out in total? And when we add everything all together, I think we may not have no money left.
No, in the list,
$5.1 million.
we still have $1.5 million left. In the list that the councilman just mentioned, it's not much money.
Councilwoman, listen.
You know, I have a list too. I haven't been heard of.
No, you don't. You don't have a list.
I don't have a list? I assure you, I have Sans Souci. Has a lot of lists. I can tell you what they are right now, just like you have 7th Avenue. And it's important to us, just like it's to you.
Now, can I make a motion? Or you want to make the motion?
No.
Can I make a motion?
I just want to take care of the three big items.
Wait a minute, Councilwoman.
Yes.
Let's look at what we have, okay? If we in line, we make a motion, and
you want me to say it again? What I said? Repeat. Okay, let me say it again.
Let's take care of the three items, then we can make a motion for the rest of the money.
Hold on.
Those are important. We have to pay for the City Hall one way or the other.
It's okay.
On the cars and the library. We have no choice.
I agree. Oh my God, I agree with you. Councilman, what you said, Councilman Marcellus.
Library, 1 million.
Yes.
Housing,
1 million for now.
For now.
Phase 1, yes.
And you
7th Avenue facade, 1 million.
And with the police cars,
1.5.
Or we're going to give police cars 1.5 million.
That's what you said. That was your
request.
request.
Not just police cars, the entire
city fleet. And it's a need, not a want.
But we're asking for 1.5
listen to that. When I talked to Mr. Johnson, he told me, what it's going to cost us cheaper if we lease the car for the city. Not for the police. We have to purchase the vehicles.
So how much is that? How much did he tell you? We're not discussing project. We're discussing cost.
Okay.
How much did he say? $1 million or 1.5?
The $1.5 million is all together. Okay. But if we're going to lease the vehicle, it's going to cost way less.
So what is it that you want to allocate? 1 million for now?
Let's say 1 million for now.
Okay, good. Okay, 1 million for now. So how many million is that? That's 3 million.
Yes.
Okay.
City Hall.
You want to say 600 or 300?
600,000.
600,000. Okay, that's Mr. Mayor, the accountant.
Yes, I have $4.6 million now.
Okay, and we will add the list of the Councilman Scott Galvin provided, because
you're going to have to answer my list too.
Put a figure on it.
If you want to spend $1 million in 7th Avenue, you got to spend $1 million in Sans Souci on the east side also.
Great.
It's not fair otherwise.
And another thing, Mr. Glenn, and another
the street improvement. how much?
It's the
Yeah, Councilman Galvin has the same thing, and we have
no,
it.
he doesn't have those.
You don't need
now.
street
Let
improvements.
the
Yeah, we
city
just put a
manager-
figure on it.
No, don't.
Don't put a figure on it.
No, let the city manager go over it. At least he will do an assessment to see exactly what needs to be done. You give $1 million, maybe they don't need it, so you're gonna force them to do it.
You got to be fair about this, equal to
Li-
both
li-
sides.
Listen, and let's say that street improvement, and but
The entire list. Can you make a motion?
for the entire list,
Yes.
listen, and
Can you make a motion?
I want to make a motion, but
I second the motion.
What motion is he making?
The motion
What's
is
the motion?
The motion is. You guys were not taking notes.
Yeah, we taking notes. He
Okay,
just
the motion
Marcellus
is just
just
the
changed
list.
his numbers.
The list that I just
You
okay,
gotta-
here's the list, okay? The list is we making Councilman Masters is making a motion $1 million for housing, $1 million for library, $1 million for facade of 7th Avenue, $600,000 for City Hall. The list that Councilman Galvin has, which he will provide to you guys without Mocha, you agree? Then we will entertain Mocha to take it back.
Okay, as long as we prioritize and come back to Mocha's,
Yes.
because I think our timeline is short. with
Yes.
whatever-
I'm not
We will-
giving $1
we
million
will-
to 7th Avenue
Okay.
when I don't know what it's for.
That will be you are not listening. When you start listening, you will understand because I give a long speech. We're gonna vote on it. You don't have to vote on it. And I think that we will. I really like the idea that Mrs. Blaine discussed about the. We need a grant writer, and I think that we really need it right now. I don't want to put a price on it.
Well, I have a motion
Just-
too.
Can I
That's the
finish?
case. We have to-
We're not going to put a price on it, but I want you to take into consideration to take a look how much it will cost us either to have a contractor or someone to actually take for as a grant writer. But we're not going to put a price in it right now. So you guys get the motion?
This
No.
is what I have on the floor right now,
ahead.
Councilwoman. We have $1 million allocated to housing improvements. We have $600,000 allocated for City Hall improvements. We have, it appears, $1 million for the beautification of Northwest 7th Avenue.
No, facade. Go ahead.
Sorry?
Okay, that's what you want to call
And
it.
okay, and we have an additional $1 million for a police vehicle, and that is
$1 million for the library.
Yeah, he said it.
And then yeah, we got the $1 million for the library. That's what we have right now.
And Councilman Gavin will provide a list. Can you provide the
We
list?
have the list, but we don't have an amount.
Correct.
You can, if you'd like to come back at the next meeting or whatever with some prices attached
No.
to mine.
I have North Shore Park, North Bay Shore Park, which everyone uses. Access to
Well,
the
you
bay
had the
has
floor,
to be
you-
refurbished.
I second the motion that you have. Mr. Mayor, can you please take the floor?
What's the total?
All right. We have a total of $1 million to housing, $1 million to library, $1 million to the pilot program, $1 million to City Fleet Police.
What's a
cars,
pilot program?
The facades.
600 facade, $600,000 to City Hall.
No.
Councilman- Okay, just hold on, Councilman Marcellus. Is that your motion?
Why don't we allow Mr. Blaine to put the
We can come back because we
$300,000 for the
For
park on it?
North,
For
North,
North Bay Shore
everyone uses it.
Okay.
They don't
North
use
Bay
7th
Shore-
Avenue.
okay, we
Can we
add-
They
open
use North Bay Shore Park.
Yes, this is the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Mr.
No,
Mayor?
you-
Yes.
Probably you need,
I-
what, $300,000 to redo
No,
the park?
Mr. Mayor,
One
if
second.
I'd just like to just add one small thing to that. I think that if we added $1 million to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, the $1 million to cover as a priority North Bay Shore Park, and you have some other two fence items. One
16th Avenue.
16th Avenue, and let us
I
take
need a
those-
wall in an alleyway too, on
I-
21st Street.
I think it's the same. It's the same one.
121st Street's an alley.
Same one.
It's the same one. If we was to add $1 million, prioritizing North Bay Shore Park for it to be renovated or brought back, and then the two fence areas and sidewalks. I think that what would be left over, we can put that in social services, and then come back. It probably about 100,000 left over. We can come back and make a recommendation to you all as to how those funds, a committee So I think that with that $1 million added to this,
Now, how much is that going to be?
that's
With your
one,
adding of
two,
$1 million.
3, 4, 5, $5.6 million.
So we're going to spend $5.6 million.
Yes.
Okay, I second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, that
Let's discuss this.
That
Are you
was
done?
Councilman Galvin's.
Okay, the motion was made and the motion was seconded. Mr. City Clerk, would you read for the record the motion that was made?
This is the motion that I have from Councilman Marcellus. We're going to allocate $1 million for housing improvements, $600,000 for City Hall improvements, $1 million for the pilot program spoke by Councilwoman Steriel, $1 million for police vehicle upgrades, and $1 million for library renovations.
Another $1 million for the list of.
I'm sorry, that's what I have right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you wanted to add something else? That was the motion and the second.
It's nothing from North Bayshore
It was $1
Bayshore
million.
Park.
There's another
I'm sorry.
$1 million.
And then we had one additional $1 million for a total of the North Bay Shore Park, the 2 fence areas, and the sidewalks.
And what's left for social service.
And what's left for social services.
How about advertising the Miami Herald again
So we got the motion, we got the second. Can we get a vote?
and redoing the Sans Souci?
Just one request to make, not changing the motion well, not substantively, I don't think. One request, that staff come back to us in a month with
Recommendations.
itemized budgets as to how this money is going to be spent. For instance, if we give $1 million to housing, how are you going to spend that $1 million
I
specifically? If
agree.
we give $1 million to the library, what are you going to do with that specifically? I just want to
Totally
know what
agree.
it's going to be.
Okay,
Yeah, but we need to know
agree.
specifically. Is it going to be blue tops for housing, or is it going to be roofs, or is it going to be people's
Can you call the vote?
bathrooms?
Okay, the motion was made
But I'm still
for
against it.
$5.6 million, and I'm going to read the motion again. It was made, it was seconded. $1 million to housing, $1 million library, $1 million for beautification on North 7th Avenue, $1 million for the police/city cars, $600,000 for City Hall, $1 million for Bayshore Park, the 2 fences areas that we discussed, and sidewalks. The motion was made and was seconded. Anyone wishes to record a no?
No.
Okay, item passed 4-1. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank God.
Okay.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate your collaboration.
We love you too.
I know. I do
Okay.
too.
Kumbaya, everybody.